Michael, was it a help or a hindrance last Saturday's games for both teams being off?
From our point of view, I thought it was a hindrance. We've gone up the day before, prepared properly. Didn't really want to fall 2 games behind, but there's not a lot you can do. You go up there and the pitch was unplayable, so it was a hindrance, but you just get on with it.
And is there a leveller in terms of actually match readiness that Forest Green's game was off as well?
Even if the game had been on, we'd have had a full week's prep, so I don't think it's any difference really. We've both played the same game time, but even if they'd have played or we'd have played and they hadn't, I don't think a full week's recovery is more than enough.
And I suppose it shows the value of you being able to go and see them at Exeter a couple of weeks ago. If you obviously you couldn't get any scouting out of them at last weekend.
Yeah, well, we know a lot about them anyway. But the reason why I chose that game is that 2 teams at the top of the league and 2 teams that we hadn't played yet. So it was an opportunity to get eyes on them both, and it was a tight game. Exeter started the game really well, but Forest Green grew into it.
And the way that Exeter started the game, is that the sort of way in which Cheltenham have to start this weekend?
It's the way I'd like us to start. I'm not saying that we have to start like that. I think any team wants to get on the front foot early on. But to be fair to Forest Green, they've sort of wrestled the momentum back and in the end up missing a good chance to come away with a good point.
How good is it for the area that actually a derby isn't just a derby, it's a derby between 2 teams right near the top of the table?
Yeah, I think regionally, you look at the teams that are in and around it. There's Exeter, like I said, Plymouth will be in and around it, Newport, if you count them, and Swindon as well. So it's definitely healthy in the area. And a local derby is a local derby. It's great but I think the fact that 2 years ago it was a local derby with 2 teams scrapping to stay in the league. Well, now 18 months, 2 years later, Forest Green were up and around it last year, and they've proved that they just carried on from the same form as last year, and obviously we've improved slightly. So it should be a good game, local derby, 2 good footballing teams, and hopefully it will be a good game.
What's different about derbies? Is it everything around it off the pitch, but things on the pitch are the same?
Yeah, you won't need to motivate the players tomorrow. The players will know what's at stake. You get all the hype from the outside, and it doesn't matter where you go. I've played in the Blackburn-Burnley derby, which is very big in the area anyway, but they went years without playing each other. So that's why it became sort of more intensified, and even now it's flipped the other way now, where Burnley are not playing Blackburn because they're in completely different leagues, but the intensity between the two, that's gone back hundreds of years. This is sort of evolving, this derby, because when I first started playing it was Gloucester, but it looks like these are the 2 local rivals. The supporters are starting to create that sort of tribal sort of township sort of thing, and it's just good. It just intensifies the atmosphere.
And there's a few former players in each squad. How special a day will it be for them?
Well, that's what makes it. There's things like that make it a special game. There's a lot of crossover from the clubs. Joycey looking at me now. Look, there's one. Staff members, Bucky's played for Forest Green. There's little stories all over the place, and that's what the players they don't want to get beat by one of their old teammates or their old club. So that's what intensifies everything.
And Ruben Reid and Tav Campbell, are they any closer than they were last time we spoke to you?
They're closer, yeah, but they're not. They won't be involved. Tav's not fit. Ruben's football fit, but not football ready, if that makes sense. So he's getting closer. But he needs football minutes, Rube. So unfortunately, because it had been again that they'd have both been chomping at the bit to get to. But if they're not ready, they're not ready.
And any others? Everyone else okay?
Yeah, Sheafy's been back training. Other than that, no more injuries to report.
Chris Hussey's signed a new contract for next season. How much was that a no-brainer, if you like?
Well, he delivered well for us. We think he's a good player, and personally, I think he's the best left-back in the league. I'd say Joseph Mills runs him pretty close, to be fair to. I've played with Mills at Burnley, so I know all about him. He's a very good player. But I think with Huss, good 1v1 defender, he's 6 foot, he can run, he can cross it. He ticks all the boxes as far as we're concerned. I know there was an injury concern, but he played 40 games last year, and I think he's already up 14 or 15 this year. So we have to manage him right, and we have to look after him at times, but his quality is undoubted.
And people might say, well, you're doing this it's a luxury to be able to do this, but actually it's a position of strength you're doing it from, which has been earned, isn't it?
Well, I said it when I first came in. There need to be more continuity within the club. I think it's difficult to keep constantly putting a team together every year of changing 16, 17 players every year. It's difficult for the supporters to buy in and go, well, I'm not going to buy a shirt because I don't know whose name's going to be on the back of it from year to 6 months to 6 months. So it's something that we've said we would try to do. Now the players have to deliver performances for us to want to keep them. But I think it shows that with the performances that the players are putting in, they want to stay because there's a good atmosphere within the club at the minute. The supporters are buying in because they're seeing results on the pitch. So there's lots of things been moving in a similar direction for these to happen. The key is you don't want to sign everybody. You need a little bit of hunger, but we've tied a couple of the younger ones down, and now we've tied a couple of the more experienced ones down.
And are there talks ongoing with any others?
Not really, no.
Fair enough. You mentioned the supporters. How big a role could they play this weekend?
Same as always, important. The supporters and players feed off each other. It's always that one when it's a drab 0-0 of who supports who. But again, I don't think anyone will need any motivate. The supporters won't need any motivating for this game, and the players won't need any motivating for this game. Everyone knows what's at stake locally. It's 3 points as far as I'm concerned. But hopefully they can feed off each other.